Thank you for tuning in to the Helium Radio Network. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
Peaceful Warriors Wellness. Feel better, move better, be better. When you feel better, you feel more like you. And when you move better, there's so much you can do. Be who you were meant to be. Peaceful Warriors Wellness. Feel better, move better, be better. Peaceful Warriors.
Hello and welcome to the Feel Better, Move Better, Be Better podcast. I am your host today, Roma Osterman, and I am joined today by always Lena Roberts.
Good morning.
And our special guest today, Tina Murphy. Hello, hello. You can find us at Peaceful Warriors Wellness Center 6 days a week. You can call us at 727-822-8866 or check us out online at peacefulwarriorswellness.com, as well as on our Facebook page and Instagram at PW Wellness. A little bit of essential oils there. So we're here. We're having a great time. Would we like to do the self-care check-in today?
Yes.
Or are we? Okay, cool.
Okay, the self-care check-in is going to be about how would we tie this into a self-care check-in? Self-care is the basics of life. And I guess it would be rest, because you're trying to balance your moods.
Oh, yes. There's a number of things you can do to help manage your moods. And some of them are get a good night's sleep.
Yes.
Make sunshine part of your day.
Yes.
Exercise regularly.
Yes.
Introduce healthier food options.
Yes.
Do something nice for someone else. Use essential oils daily. Oops. Oh, that was my line.
Yes.
Try positive thinking. Find a quiet place and meditate. Achieve a goal, big or small.
Those are all great basic
self-cares.
Mm-hmm.
But there are 10 ways to boost your mood naturally.
That's right.
And that's part of self-care, because your
awesome.
mood reflects your whole well-being.
I started using them really whenever I became a massage therapist. I had used them and heard them randomly throughout the years. But I know that you come to it from a completely different aspect. Absolutely.
A different approach in how I learned about them? Yeah, it goes back to when I was a kid. My mom was a nurse, and she had seen what happened in hospitals in New York, and her feeling was, keep you well, then you don't have to go and see someone. And there were times when, you had a tooth problem, and she'd say, put some of this, what was it? One of the oils on it.
Yeah.
But don't swallow it. But you put it on there, and it went away.
Cloves.
And it's a typical oil for gums. Clove, that's it. But it's the skull and crossbone on the bottle. But there are other natural things that she'd have us use, and castor oil was something she used, and all kinds of basic stuff where medications weren't part of the rhythm. And then we're talking years and years ago when she didn't want us on any antibiotics, because back then you didn't have a lot of it, but she already had a feeling for what you have to be careful about, because you can, when you need them, you're not going to be able to use them. So she stuck with the basics and kept us healthy. So that's the fundamentals I had. And I was always a little bit of Florence Nightingale. People would come to me, I hurt this, I hurt that, and I was always fixing things and looking for natural ways to fix them. And then someone came to me, my neighbor, who was doing oils, and she's also a herbalist, and said, you want to learn a little bit about this? And I went, and I could not believe the extent you could use them. And I really gravitated to the emotional side, just because I've been through a lot of emotional issues. And that's really what brought me back to Florida, because I grew up here and left for many years in Canada and most of my life there. But I came back to Florida because it's a happy place. be. It is. There's lots of sunshine. You can be outside.
Yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
not in the summer. It's not for me, but most of the other year you can be outside. So I came to it because the foundation was already there. And when I saw how much you could work with the oils to make your life so much better, and I could help
Yes.
people. And to me, it's obvious. And I'm a gardener. So when I found out where the oils came from, how they are like a peppermint leaf,
Right.
you rub it and you can smell that. Many of the plants in my garden, I'll plant things because I like the smell of the
Right.
leaves. So when I walk by them, I go, oh, God, that takes me back to my childhood. What was that? And that's what the oils do. They work on your sense of smell. And your sense of smell goes back into your brain where you have your limbic system and the hippocampus. And that is where you have the seat of all your
Yes.
emotions. And it triggers memories. So that sense of smell is really elevated when you use oils. And if you find the right smells for you and scents for you, you can work on certain emotions. And a lot of it's just learning what works.
I see that every day in my practice.
You're right, Lena. I've been with you for a number of years, and you always hit it on the nose what oil I need. And quite often you go for something, I
Geranium.
feel you need geranium.
I love geranium.
And it is geranium I need. Yeah, geranium is for issues of the heart. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling broken.
It's a very potent smell.
It's a very potent smell.
Overwhelming. I feel like that when I smell geranium, it's one of those oils that I feel with my whole body. And I call it my old
Yes.
lady oil.
It is an old lady. I mean, in the sense
yes,
of the
that's what
perfumes
I-
that
that's
our
what I
grandmothers
associate it
probably
with.
wore,
And now that
you know.
I am an old lady, I love it even more. And I identify from it. I really
Far from
identify
it,
with
no.
geranium sometimes.
Well, as you said, it's almost overwhelming, and it helps you deal with overwhelming. It sort of wraps you in a blanket, and makes you feel better.
Yeah.
I've struggled with the smell of it, just because it is so potent, and it's not exactly my favorite smell. But then I learned all
Yes.
kinds of qualities, but it's great for your skin too. So, if you're applying it on you for your emotions, you're also helping your skin at the same time. And I mean, hey,
Right.
who's not going to want to work on their
I-
skin?
Have also found that geranium is really good detoxifier. It's really good for letting go.
Yes, and it is
Yeah.
it is a detoxification oil. The oils I work with, there's a blend of them that you use for detoxification, and geranium's in it. And when I used that oil, I went, ooh, what is that taste that I'm getting? Because I use them internally, the safe ones. And I was going, oh, and suddenly I looked on the
That's not
bottle and
for
it was
me.
geranium and went, oh, that's not for me. But
Right.
it does what
Exactly.
it says it does.
And I think that geranium is it can change someone's whole mood. I find that a lot of people that's dealing with grief, the first oil that I go to is
Yes.
that console. It's got patchouli
Right.
and it's very frankincense. It's very comforting.
Frankincense.
And then follow that with geranium, and I let them feel it, and then it seems I can let it go.
Well, yeah, when we go back to console, it has frankincense in
Yes.
it, which is one of the oils of grief. That really takes you. It delves deep into you, and it comforts you. And if anything, it's the one that, if you had no other oil,
Yeah.
that you would use for something like that. It's
Ylang
got,
Ylang,
you said
yes, that's
patchouli. It also has Ylang Ylang.
Feminine.
Yes. Feminine. It actually, Ylang Ylang happens to be the oil of inner child. So what it is trying to uplift you and trying to take you back to your innocence and let go of all
Right.
that stuff that's miring you down. You know, it's helping you get there. And it has sandalwood. Sandalwood is very comforting oil. And rose,
And I
which
am
is one of
not
the higher
a
vibration
rose
oils.
fan. It's one of those ones that makes me.
If
And
anything, I'd say that
most
was
people
grandma
would,
smell.
but I
Yeah.
don't smell it at all in the console. I don't.
So no, there's sometimes and a blend of oils.
Yes.
You will pick out one thing
Absolutely.
at one time and another thing at another time. And I know there's one of our oils that I used to smell the wild orange, and now I smell the clove instead of, and I'd like to smell the cinnamon instead of
And
the clove.
I
So
use
you know, it just
balance
depends.
that exact same way because on certain people, the frankincense is forward, and certain people, what is it? Is it hoe wood? The
Yeah,
spruce.
it's got hoe
But
wood.
in certain
It has
people,
spruce in it.
it smells different, and that can kind of take me on where
Yes.
they are. Right.
Where they need it.
Yes.
Now, balance is what we call the trees. Balance has a lot of trees in it, which means it keeps you grounded. And many times when you're emotionally upset, you're emotionally in turmoil, you're in your head
Right.
and you're bouncing off the walls. And this sort of makes you come back to your basics, come back to the ground, come back and feel comforted by Mother Earth. And that is why balance is so useful
love
in
balance.
many instances.
It's like
And the frankincense in there amplifies
right.
what some of the other oils do. It not only gives you the comfort, but that's one of the qualities of frankincense is it amplifies other oils that it's working with.
So we're going to take a break right now, and we will come back with part 2 and get more into what oils that you would need for certain emotions. See you back in a few minutes. That's a Feel Better, Move Better, Be Better podcast.
Hey, Eric Remmel here, producer of the Feel Better, Move Better, Be Better podcast, and I'm here today to tell you about the amazing folks at Peaceful Warriors Wellness Center. Not only am I a producer of the show, but I'm also a client. Their staff of therapists are truly the best at what they do. Now is your chance to check them out for yourself. Go to their website, peacefulwarriorswellness.com, and click Book Now, or give them a call at 727-822-8866. Use the promo code RADIO and get $15 off your first visit. Yes, you heard me right. $15 off your first visit. Now, this is just for a limited time, and make sure to tell them that you heard about it on heliumradio.com.
Welcome back to the Feel Better, Move Better, Be Better podcast. I am your host today, Roma, joined today with Lena and Tina. I like that.
Yay.
That's fun. So we were talking about moods and essential oils. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into the pairings of each, right? Correct? On the right
So
track?
we talked a little bit about grief,
Yeah.
and one of the aspects of grief is anger. Tell me something that we
Yes.
can use when we're angry. 'Cause I have a hard time. I have a hard time with anger.
Well, anger is something that you
Yeah.
want to get
Exactly.
off your back, get it away from you. And a couple of oils that'll help you with that are Ylang Ylang. That's that inner child. It's taking you back to your innocence. It's helping you let go of what's here and now, and helping you feel as though that didn't happen. Patchouli is another oil that will help you get rid of anger. And I think it, again, is a flower. Flowers work on that level for that type of thing. And Arbor Vitae. Now, Arbor Vitae
That's to
is
say, it's a
the
tree. It's a
grand
pine tree.
cedar. It's a tree. It's a tree. It's a tree, and the grand
Oh.
and it's from
Two
Canada
references
actually.
references to
Yay for
Canada.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
It's just, no, it had to happen that way. And one of its attributes is that it assists individuals who believe or act like all progress must be made through struggle and solitary effort. And when you're angry,
Yes.
you're trying to conquer something that you really are having a hard time dealing with. You just like, I don't get why this person is this way, or I don't get why this
Right.
situation is this way, because that's ultimately what it comes back to. So instead of trusting in the divine, individuals unconsciously block divine aid, choosing instead to live by their own efforts. So what it's trying to do is help you step away from the anger and let it go, because that's not your
Right.
problem. It's someone else's problem. They're creating it. You just, if you can say, I don't want to be a part of that, then you're reaching out to something bigger than you to help resolve your feelings. I do want to say there are two different things here we're looking at. There's emotions and there are moods. Moods typically are something you can't really define. They're sort of longer lasting,
Yeah.
like the gray cloud over your head, or the sunshine on your shoulders. While emotions are like emojis, like happy faces, smiley faces, winky faces. They're short, and you can usually pick them out. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm going on vacation. Ooh, that's the good thing. Or I got fired, that's an emotion. So oils are really good at working with moods. On emotions, they can work on them, but sometimes
Fleeting.
it's something that's so fleeting that you might need a little spring of oil to help you there. But it's the longer term stuff, the stuff that's
Right.
hanging over you, sometimes can't put your finger on, that oils really, they work well on. They work well on both of them, but there is a
I never
definition between the two.
really thought about it, but yeah, moods and emotions are two different things, and emotions are fleeting.
Things. Right. But sometimes a compilation of emotions
Like mood, right?
will make a mood. Right. If you keep on getting hit with downer,
Yes.
downer, downer, then your mood
Yes.
is going to be that cloud
Well,
over
like
your
poor
head.
Roma this morning, I had to spray
and you might get
peppermint
a
on
li-
top of her head to get that cloud to go away.
I feel great now.
Right, yes. She inhaled it.
Okay, medicine at its finest. Plant medicine at its finest.
Plant medicine.
So, what oils should we use for anger? You talked about the Arbor Vitae, Arbor Vitae,
Arbor Vitae,
Truly, Ylang Ylang.
right? Patchouli, Ylang Ylang.
Right.
And I think
That's what
oils as
I
well
always
that'll
go to
uplift you.
is the citruses.
Citruses. Because they open you up, they make you feel brighter. And I think sometimes
Yeah.
you need the comfort to get through the anger,
Yeah.
which is what some of the flowers will do for you. But I think the citruses will also give you that uplifted feeling.
And I'm
that-
probably jumping away
get it
from
off
the
my
moods
back.
right now, but there's a word that you use a lot that I think is very important when we're talking about essential oils, especially blending essential oils, is that you talk about a driving oil. My first thought is peppermint because it
Right.
opens up. But can you talk a little bit more about what a driving oil is and examples of them?
Sure. Driving oils sort of push the other oils to be more fortified. And if you're applying them on you, they push them deeper, like say into your skin. Peppermint would be one. Frankincense is one. And it's not, frankincense is a very soft oil, but it has that property to drive and amplify. Another
Okay.
driving oil would be cinnamon or clove. They're spicy oils, and
Yeah.
spicy oils will
Peppermint can be
Drive things.
spicy and
um,
quote
and-
hard.
Oh, definitely. Peppermint is very, very spicy. And what I have found is that sometimes it's too spicy for people. So you might go to spearmint, which is a little softer, especially if you're working with children. The peppermint can, if you put it too close to your face, you'll tear
Right.
up. And you're not crying because you're sad. You're crying because it is so, so
My
strong
peppermint
and potent.
plant over here, whenever and it's only about 6 months old. No, more like 4 months old. And about 3 months ago, I pulled it out, and those roots were longer than this tower is tall.
Yes, peppermint and family plants in the mint family, they grow by rhizomes, which means that you never want to put them in your garden unless you want your whole garden to
Oh my
have them, because
gosh.
they're little roots that spread out, and they just keep going. And you really should keep them in a pot because of that. But that's how they spread. They're
Yes.
very
That's the reason I just put
And-
when I put them back, I put it like on the bottom, so it's going to go straight towards the water and maybe not
Right.
become 10 foot long. I mean, like in
Come
3 months,
on root.
one plant of peppermint, its roots were longer than 10 feet.
That's so wild.
I'll believe it. I'll believe it. I made a mistake up north in putting in one of my
Yeah.
planters when just beginning gardening. Gardener number 101. I put it in a planter with a bunch of other stuff, and the winter came, winter left. I come next spring, and the whole planter, which had to have been like 6 feet
Yeah.
by 6 feet by 6 feet, like it was a U, was full of peppermint. And trying to pull that out was
I
basically you had
made
to
the
pull
mistake
dirt
in
out.
the
It just
first
grows.
apartment complex that I lived in down here, was putting, I think it was spearmint, but a mint in a pot, but the pot was sitting on the ground, and it grew out of it.
Oh, it goes right out
Oops.
through the bottom of.
Oh well.
They're amazing. The mints. Now mints are really good when you feel apathetic, insecure, or anxious, which means those are times when you're not feeling 100% yourself, and they'll boost your mood. They'll boost you to feel better, and they're great for that, to pick me up. We
Yeah.
always say mint
It
picks
does.
me
It
up.
cools you down
It cools
so
you
nicely.
down. It picks you up. Oh, it's great,
Right.
especially when you're in
Right.
Florida or you have personal sunbursts. It really does help those. But it also is one of those oils that people sometimes get almost addicted to. It's like, okay, I'm feeling. They go and they grab it all the time, and so they're jumping in that pool and they're swimming, going, okay, I feel so great, and they don't want to get out of the pool. They
Right.
don't want to deal with what's really bothering them. So if you're anxious, why are you anxious? If you don't deal with those things, the oil is just
Right.
sort of masking it. So I really have to emphasize that if you're working with the oils, you really have to deal with the issue, because otherwise
Right.
you're going to be just placating it. And it's like anything else, you have to deal with it. Don't use the oils as like a rubber band.
You should
to
use
keep
the
you in
essential
place.
oils along with those other 10 self-cares.
Right. And when you encounter something coming up with the oils, find a way to express it. Do you write? Do you dance? Do you box? Do you run? Express it somehow, because then if you're dealing with it, you're getting rid of that issue. You're clearing that issue. And the oil will help you clear it. But if you don't deal with it, and there's so many ways, like some people, as I say, they play music, they sing, they write. For me, journaling has always been a big thing. If I write it down and I express it, and it's funny, you go back, you read it,
Right.
Oh, I know that
did I
emotion
really
so
feel
well.
that way?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do want to talk
yes.
about those driving oils just one more time, just to go back to that. Typically, I would say a lot of them are spices, and spices work with times when you're somber, when you're disinterested, when you're bored.
Right.
So what spices do is kick you in the butt, and they motivate you, and they get you going. And a driver would do that. It would kick you and get you going. So those driver oils, which, as I say, would be cinnamon, clove, peppermint, anything that has a kick to it, they quite often amplify the effects of other oils, but they also get you. So you're more
Gotcha.
motivated to
Which is
address
probably
things.
one of the reasons why I am like adamantly opposed to all of those oils.
Well, it's funny. I've been using, there's a blend that's called Clear Your Clutter. And in it is lime, and this is for diffusing, which means using it aromatically. Has lime, Douglas fir, and lemongrass. And I usually love lemongrass. I use it on a blend for my wrists and that, and I always put extra in there. Oh, recently I've been going, if I was diffusing, I was going, I'm not crazy about that, and I just like it's, a little too much for me. So I switched, and I switched to putting lime, Douglas fir, and green mandarin. Now, Douglas fir deals with generational issues like your family, your background. It helps you, and it's an older wood, so it helps you dig deep and accepting that stuff and using it to your benefit. Lime is your zest for life. It's lively. Again, it's pick me up. And lemongrass is very cleansing, so that's why it's good for clearing the clutter. But green mandarin is your pure potential. And again, it's going back to that innocence. It's going back to the cleansing of basics. And I think the time that we've been through for the last 2 years with the COVID and being stuck at home and not having contact with other people, the lemongrass for me was just too much. I'm not ready to do that big cleanse. I'm not ready to have that kick in the butt to do it. I need something softer, and the green mandarin was softer. And I'm loving diffusing that now. It seems to be the one that's making me feel better. And I couldn't figure out why I didn't like the lemongrass, because usually I do.
Right.
And it's all emotional. Emotionally, I'm not ready for
And I am
dealing
exactly
with that
the
on that
opposite
level.
over the past month. Because lemongrass has been something that was very medicinal for me. I used it when needed, but it was not a go-to personal. And over the past month, I have become very attracted to it. Roma uses it a lot. And so I find it over there. Usually it's like I hit the diffuser off whenever I had to sit there when she had a whole bunch of lemongrass in there because it was overpowering. Now I like it. I got a no-seum spray recently that has lemongrass in it, and I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been getting out more. We're doing more networking. We have become ambassadors for the chamber. So it's very appropriate that you say that I'm getting out more. I'm doing more, and lemongrass has become attractive to me.
Right. And it's weird because I loved lemongrass. I mean, as I say, I'd add it to stuff, or if it was in there, I'd put extra because the
one of my
smell
favorite
just
teas
made
to
me
drink.
feel
So
like
good.
wonderful. And
See, no, it tastes like
The
tea.
lemongrass
It tastes
tea.
like grass.
I like it though. Maybe I'm weird, but a little bit of honey, it's good stuff.
well, lemongrass it's a cleanser of energy, and it dispels feelings of despondency, despair, and lethargy. So by you getting out, you see,
Right.
it's pushed you out the door, and it's helping you with that. It assists individuals in entering healing mode or cleansing state, and it helps you easily let go of old limiting beliefs, toxic energies, and
exactly
negativity. So, and the green mandarin can help me in that direction.
The kick in the
but
butt
I don't
that
think I'm ready
lemongrass
for
does.
the kick in the butt, and that's why I'm. Yeah, yes. And you can say not one oil does.
Right.
You just rely on that one oil for something. They have so many uses,
Right,
and
because
sometimes you have to
it's
go in
not
stages to get
a
there.
good thing to do it real fast and hard sometimes. And
Yes.
I am the slow what is it? Slow tortoise, slow and steady tortoise is
Slow
me.
and steady? Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, I went to Girl Scout camp or Girl Guide camp in Canada, and they gave me, for my hat, a tortoise because
Yes.
slow and steady, Tina wins the race. And, back then I sort of looked at it going,
Yes.
oh, come on. But now I go,
that's
okay,
probably the reason
it's all
why
right.
we were
It's
such
okay.
good friends. Because we're always at the back of the pack.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned you liked lemongrass in your tea, and it's an urban grass. And they're good for when you're discontent,
drink more
when
of
you're
it.
bitter, or you're angry. So those oils, and that type of taste would be good for things like that. And so again,
Yes.
that one is good for anger.
Lemongrass.
And that, as you can see, how it would be, it sort of
Right.
kicks you in another direction.
Right.
It cleans everything out.
Alrighty. Well, I think that might be your time. Is there
I
anything
think
else that
this
we'd like
was-
to mention?
Tina, would you like to give out your contact information?
Oh, sure.
Do
My
your email address.
my my email will give you the easy one. T Murphy, that's T as in Tina Murphy, MURPHY 2425 at
That's great.
gmail.
Now, if you want to listen to this, well, I guess you're already listening to this podcast, but we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google. We have a lot of Pinterest. We are on Life Improvement Radio. I know that you can find us on Google Podcast and
Spotify, Podcaster. There's a bunch. We're everywhere.
all those places now.
You're the social media.
Roma is the social
Wellness
media
people.
wellness person. She does all of this stuff for us, and we love her completely. So,
I love it.
if you want to find us, we are at peacefulwarriorswellness.com. We are located in downtown St. Petersburg at 19 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street South. We are located between Central and First Avenue South. Anytime Fitness is on at the corner of Central and First Avenue, Central and MLK. And now there's going to be a sushi restaurant at the corner of MLK and First Avenue South soon.
Very excited.
Excited for that. But you can find us on Facebook. What is it? / PW Wellness. Is that the same thing at Instagram?
Yes. So at PW Wellness for Instagram as well. And I believe Pinterest as well.
Good. You can also reach us, and our phone number is 727-822-8866. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking with you again soon.
Have a wonderful day, y'all.
Bye. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everybody have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Helium Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and should not be construed in any way as advice from Helium Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, and editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the express written consent of Helium Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.